lot of our clients at the highest levels, our Fortune 500s and above, are migrating their sites right now, especially into AEM. There's a lot more functionality for customer journey experience into these new site hosting platforms. And when we do that, we want to make sure that we're considering SEO. And within SEO, there's actually two parts of that we want to think through, and that's optimization. So you're iterating on the content you already had, making sure it's performing better in this new version of the site. And then your remediation, and this is one that gets forgotten often, but there's actually issues that could arise from the process of migration. One of those would be implementing 301 redirects correctly, making sure things are mapping over, but there's a number of other ones that you need to remediate as part of migration. One of the challenges that businesses have when they're trying to implement these site migrations is really to do with timeline and resources. So I've never heard a client say that they don't want the best version of their site. Everybody does. But I have heard clients say, we don't have the time, we don't have the staff, we don't have the budget to implement that version of the site today. So balancing what they desire ultimately with what they can achieve in a phase one. One of the ways we manage through those challenges is to identify the opportunities for the highest ROI at the lowest effort. So we call those our quick wins, places where we can implement a change, an optimization, or a remediation today that's going to drive high value while we work towards a larger roadmap with phases 2 and 3 of the site relaunch that can impact the overall performance of the site. So one of the things that we can do for that would be to speed up the timelines. So we could leverage things like AI content optimization. We can augment staff. We can work through the key business goals to identify and bring up to the top the most important changes, and then implement that in a large scale roadmap. With search, for example, we'd want to consider places where we could incur a Google penalty. So those are going to be your highest risk search issues. And those are things that we'd want to remediate sooner rather than later. Something that we would want to consider when we're talking about content optimization would be the traffic driving pages, the ones that are really driving your business, leads, purchases, whatever the product may be. Those are the places that we want to optimize first. And we can help identify those pages through keyword research. We can do gap analyses. We can see where you're performing competitively and actually see where people are hitting your business or finding your business today and prioritize those pages for success while we work on the rest of the site. The most important factor in succeeding in these projects is to view them as a unified business project. And by that I mean, if you ask marketing what the most important part of the migration is, they're going to say marketing. If you ask dev, they'll say site functionality. If you ask an SEO expert, they're going to say search, right? And they're right within their specialty. But when we're viewing the overall project, we need to consider where we're going to drive the most value for the business, not just that service. So leveraging partners like TransPerfect, people who can understand the big picture view of the site performance, those are going to be the ways that you drive not only business value that wins within a service area, but that actually drives growth revenue incrementally and in the initial launch phase faster and more effectively.